Hey guys, welcome to Job 5. So I'm going to film this today. The first evening devotion, or morning devotion, was late because I slept really long last night, which is amazing because I feel good today. Sleep is a premium in my life, particularly. But so I'm going to film it today, but I'm going to set it to post tomorrow, so I can do the every other day thing and stagger. But then again, I might change my mind and set it to post the first. I don't know yet. I'm going to let the Lord lead and figure out what to do. But I want to get this filmed now that my voice is back and get us back into the flow of what we were doing. So this is Job 5. And if you guys remember, we were talking in Job 4 where Eliphaz was talking about how Job was the one who made the mistake. And now Job is being chastened by God, according to Eliphaz. Call out now. Is there anyone who will answer you? And to which of the holy ones will you turn? So there's a problem with Eliphaz right off the bat in the first verse. He's not actually looking at God, he's looking at all the gods, of which there are none, but he's now becoming much bolder in his speech. Verse 2, for wrath kills a foolish man, and envy slays a simple one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his dwelling place. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate. There is no deliverer. Because the hungry eat up his harvest, taking it even from the thorns, and a snare snatches their substance. For affliction does not come from the dust, nor does trouble spring from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble, as the sparks fly upward. But as for me, I would see God, and to God I would commit my cause, who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. So he's at least giving credit to God. He gives rain on the earth and sends waters on the fields. He sets on high those who are lowly, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He frustrates the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot carry out their plans. He catches the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the cunning comes quickly upon them. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope at noontime as in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword, from the mouth of the mighty, and from their hand. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Now this is interesting because this is elsewhere in Scripture. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Therefore do not despise the chastening of the Almighty. Now, he's still stuck in this thing of, Job, you made a mistake. For he bruises, but he binds up. He wounds, but his hands make whole. He shall deliver you in 6 troubles. Yes, in 7 no evil shall touch you. In famine he shall redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hidden from the scourge of the tongue, and you shall not be afraid of destruction when it comes. You shall laugh at destruction and famine, and you shall not be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For you shall have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. You shall know that your tent is in peace. You shall visit your dwelling and find nothing amiss. You shall also know that your descendants shall be many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to the grave at a full age, as a sheaf of grain ripens in its season. Behold, this we have searched out. It is true. Hear it and know for yourself. Now, there's something interesting about his speech. His speech sounds pretty good. And for most examinations, it is. However, when you read it and think about what he had just said in the previous chapter to Job, how he's blaming Job for Job's situation, you can kind of sense a little sarcasm here. You can kind of get a sense of a little bit of facetiousness here. He's saying the truth, but he may not be saying it from the right state of mind. Basically, like kind of what his wife said. Well, curse God and die. He's like, look what your God has done. Look what your God has done for you. Why don't you ask him? Why don't you declare it and know it? Now, again, what he said was true, but I kind of get the sense there's some sarcasm hidden in here that he's trying to lay on Job. But he's still trying to get Job to admit some kind of fault when Job didn't do anything. Nothing. Now, this is going to be a great example of what we talked about in morning devotion, Psalm 27, about God brings summer and winter. And these things that happen, we may see them as something horrible, but in actuality, it turns around to be something great. Now, in this particular instance, and we'll see that when we get to the end, God didn't do this to Job to punish Job. God actually strengthened his faith in this process, shut Satan down at the same time, showed Job there was a problem with his family, as in the first chapter, that he suspected. His wife was not loyal to him and didn't care about him, but actually was a jerk. His friends were not really his friends. And so God basically, what he did was he's separating him out from the world. Separating him away from those who are not actually on his side, but instead are for themselves. You notice it was all of them. And at the end, Job held on to faith. And God took this opportunity. He could have at any time given Job more, but he took this opportunity to give him even more. Great opportunity. Not only did he get established where I wanted him to be established, not only did I get to pull him away from this situation, but now I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to give him more. Because he's faithful, and because I am going to bring glory unto my name. And he did. God takes those bad situations and uses them as wonderful opportunities to bless his people. Because the blessing becomes much more prominent after an affliction. The truth becomes much more important after a lie is revealed. We may not be able to see the trouble on the mountain, but after they fire their little cannonball up there and make all the loose snow fall down and cause a predetermined avalanche, then we realize, oh, it's a good thing I didn't go up there skiing. I would have died. See, sometimes we can't see trouble. Sometimes we can't see glory. Sometimes we can't see any of these things from our perspective. God brings these things into our lives like he's doing for Job to show this and reveal this, which causes us to stand in more glory of him, more worship of him, more loving and singing his praises. Because then we realize, oh, well, I wasn't even aware that was happening. I wasn't even aware this was an issue in my life. God, you have revealed this to me. My joy is greater now because you have revealed it. And then he brings even greater afterwards. What is our situation right now here at the end times? We're seeing all these things happening. Whoa, what's happening? This is terrible. How is this happening? I'm in prayer all the time. We're doing all this. Look at all the people of God standing up. That's not the purpose. He's doing that because the joy of us being reunited with our Lord, with the head and the body being joined back together, the church being brought up to reside in heaven with the Lord forever, the joy will be greater because of the trouble. Because the trouble now makes it easier for us to see it. How many people were asleep before 2015, before 2012, before 2000, but now are awake? Do you think 9/11 was by accident? That was a wake-up call to get the world to open their eyes and go, whoa, wait a minute, because things had been great until then. And then the situation has changed ever since. And the Lord has consistently awakened his people. He does it with trouble. I need you to be awakened to pay attention. He does it with trouble. He does it with situations that we would look at as terrible, but the end result is going to be something great. Because every time you pass through the storm, there is rejoicing and sunshine on the other side. The bluest skies do not come before the front, but after. You guys know what I'm talking about. When a front comes through, the skies are the clearest blue you've ever seen. The air is crisp and clear. It's amazing. So let's pay close attention to what he is talking about here, because I think every one of us in our own individual lives and in our own individual issues may actually learn something very important. Learn to stop looking at the problem, but instead look for the solution from God, because it always comes from Him. And not to let the people blame us, not to let the people cause us to be downtrodden, to be depressed, to look away, but instead us look to Him more and ignore them. And they're pulling on our shirt sleeve. Hey! I'm trying to talk to you. Yeah, I got it. Look, you're focused on something I'm not focused on. I'm focused on something else. I'm focused on Him, because the solution will come from Him. No, but I need you to look at. Nope, not. I ain't got time for you. I only have time for my Lord. Poor Job. He's just now. This is a long book. He's just now getting into heaven. Hey, listen to this. They are doing everything they can, and I imagine Satan is playing a part in this. They're doing everything they can to try to get him to curse God, to look away, to bring him down lower. Well, you can't bring somebody down any lower than at the rock bottom. So Job only has one option, and that is to look up. God brings us to this place so that all we can do is look up. And when we look up, then we finally see Him. Well, now, with these lessons being presented to us, let us look up now so that we don't have to constantly be brought down. Guys, that was Job 5. Tomorrow is Job 6. Job, my complaint is just, we're going to get to hear from Job now that Eliphaz has unloaded on him, and maybe it'll help us understand more what Eliphaz is doing. But keep in mind, there's 2 other friends. So there's a lot more here. And God is going to speak at the end and give us some great revelation. And Job some great revelation. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.